interesting stuff. And then now, on to literally the worst change in the game. Okay? Hear me out. Okay, let's turn off the music. Let's get serious. This is undoubtedly one of the worst changes coming to the game. Okay? And I'll explain to you why. They are adding EX Pokemon to the game. So now Mewtwo and Zacian can no longer be on the same team together because they're EX Pokemon. Y'all might be like, Phil, why don't you like that? That's fucking awesome, right? Like, you can't put two OP Pokemon on the same team together. Hear me out. What if no Pokemon is overpowered? Crazy concept, right? In a MOBA, there should never be someone that is just, like, way stronger than your allies. Obviously, jungle is the strongest role, but even then, it's like, it's strong because it has the most XP, not because its character is innately strong. If you play Blissey jungle, you will still get level 5, first rotation, right? But now, I really dislike this change where they're adding like certifiably overpowered Pokemon to the game. Now that they're limiting these to one per team, they're going to have to be overpowered. Because why would they be limited if they're not overpowered? So this basically gives them a get out of jail free card for making OP Pokemon. Next, when they release Dialga, it's an EX Pokemon, it's going to dominate the meta, and it's going to be overpowered. I really dislike this idea, bro. In no MOBA should, like, one person on the team just literally randomly be the strongest on the team. If you play solo queue and someone takes your EX Pokemon, you lose. It's already bad enough when your jungler gets gapped, right? Imagine your jungler gets gapped and he took the one EX Pokemon. And the enemy team has an EX Pokemon that is carrying. You are omega dead. In no MOBA should it be like this. In a MOBA, all the roles should be relatively balanced, okay? Like, the support and the jungler should have relatively similar impact. Obviously, the jungler is going to do more at doing damage and stuff, but the support should equalize that impact with supporting capabilities. But now that they're adding EX Pokemon into the game, it's just like a free way for them to be like, oh, it's an EX Pokemon. It has to be better than everyone else. And this is going to force it so that every team needs an EX Pokemon. This is just forcing Mewtwo Zacian meta. I don't think this is the way the game should go. So far, there's only 2 EX Pokemon, Mewtwo and Zacian. I guess 3 if you count Mewtwo Y, right? Mewtwo X, Y, and Zacian. And if these Pokemon are limited 1 per team, they're going to be really good. And if your team does not have an EX Pokemon, you're just at a huge disadvantage. It just stifles the meta. Instead of your team being able to have 5 different Pokemon, it is 4 different Pokemon and 1 EX now. So I think this change is terrible. They should never make any Pokemon, or in any MOBA, in any 5v5 MOBA game, there should not be like some shit that's so strong that only one person gets to play it and no one else gets to play it. I think that's a terrible change. Like, I know I had some arguments with people, not arguments I guess, but like had disagreements with some people, right? Because I put out this take 5 hours ago, and people are like, no, Phil, but VGC, dude. Look, VGC. There's 2 restricted Pokemon. This is like the worst take known to man, in my opinion, because VGC is a single-player game. This is a 5v5 game. There are 10 humans in a game. VGC, it's 1v1. You get to pick your whole team. Like, you are always playing the strong shit in VGC because you are controlling all the Pokemon. But in this game, it's not like that. It's 10 different people play in one game. And this, you're basically a second-class citizen if you're not an EX Pokemon. They're made to be the leaders of their team. They're gonna be overpowered because there's only 1 per team. Why would they limit them if they're not overpowered, right? So either the EX tag is just stupid in that, like, the only way to properly balance this is if the EX Pokemon aren't overpowered. But if the EX Pokemon aren't overpowered, why even have the EX tag? So they are guaranteed to be overpowered now. Every game is gonna have to have a Mewtwo and a Zacian now. It's just what it is. It also limits the playability of other future EX mons. Why would I buy, for example, Darkrai if I know some Togyo will keep saying, yeah. So let's say a new EX mon comes out, right? And you want to play it, but you can't. Someone already went Mewtwo. Or say a new EX mon comes out and you're a Zacian main. You don't get to play your Zacian now because someone plays Darkrai on the team. I don't know, you know? So really not a big fan of this change. Probably like all the other changes I can like write off as like, you know, they're just stupid. Like, okay, Mewtwo comes out broken, you know, negligence, right? But they are now actively choosing to make the game unbalanced. Like, and putting a name tag. They're acknowledging it too. They're acknowledging these characters are overtuned and more powerful than other characters, which should never be a case in a MOBA, by the way, okay? You know, like, sure, every MOBA has its broken characters. Every MOBA has their meta characters. But the game doesn't flat out come out and go like, okay, these guys are so balanced, so broken, you only have one a team. So, I'm not liking this, guys. This is probably the worst change coming to Unite. They should just balance these mods. Zacian should be around the same power level as Dragapult. Okay? And that's like super reasonable. That should not be an unreasonable request. It's like a fighting game. Imagine like a fighting game where, I know fighting games are unbalanced too, but imagine if the developers made a fighting game thinking, okay, the cast of fighting game characters, there's going to be like 30 characters, right? I'm going to make 5 of them intentionally overpowered so that at the highest levels of play, you have to play those 5. No one does that. They do it by accident by making certain characters, you know, have interesting kits and mix-ups and all that. But they don't go into the game thinking like, okay, let me make this guy fucking overpowered right now, you know? So I think this is probably the worst change coming to Pokemon Unite. There you go. There's my rant. There is an upside to it, though. There is legitimately an upside to it, though. The upside is like, it could be interesting that, you know, later on we can have like an EX supporter or an EX defender. Imagine like an EX supporter. Muck was talking about like EX Cresselia, which is like a super good support, you know, since you only have one on the team. So, or like an EX defender. I was saying Groudon. Imagine Groudon as an EX defender, how kick-ass it would be, right? But that's like the interesting side of it. But I don't like that there's one person on a team that is like guaranteed stronger, just power level wise, than everyone else. Like Smash Brothers and Street Fighter, but those games you have to, they don't design the game thinking they're gonna make that, yo. They make it by accident. It's fine. Metas will always develop for MOBAs, but you should not go into a game thinking, let me make some shit overpowered on purpose. That should never be the play for a MOBA, bro. In a single-player game, sure. In VGC, fine. You know, you can have 700 base stat Pokemon and 500 base stat Pokemon. But in a MOBA game where everyone controls one Pokemon, there should not be one person on each team that is overtly stronger. Yo, what up, Smokey? Welcome in, welcome in. And if they make it actually balanced, then the EX tag means nothing. Why is there even an EX tag if it's balanced? If Mewtwo is the same power level as Lapras, why is there an EX tag? There shouldn't be like that, bro. Yeah, this is like the worst change in my opinion. Terrible change. Hopefully they rethink this. If there's any community surveys, you know, and you guys care about the future of the game, I would heavily oppose this, guys. You know, Pokemon, we know Pokemon and Timmy Steele, we know they have not handled the MOBA genre, you know, as nicely. But I would wager if you ask any MOBA player, any competitive player, any MOBA player, I've been playing MOBAs for like legit 7 to 8 years. Any MOBA player will tell you that this is a terrible change. If you don't play MOBAs and you're not a MOBA player, you're not a competitive player, you can see why, like, why is this bad, Phil? Like, VGC, you know, is like this too. But if you play MOBAs, you will know that this is a terrible change. Truly a terrible change. I'm all for Unite being different from other MOBAs, but, like, some things are inherently fucked up, you know? Like, who remembers the double pit chesty axe commercial? I do not remember that. I do not remember, but I do remember that this should not go through. So there you go. That's my opinion on that. I'm a Smite player. See, anyone that plays a MOBA, you know, anyone that plays a 5v5 game and understands a 5v5 game knows how bad it is for one person on each team to be extra overpowered. You know, it's sure that one person has a lot of fun, right? But the 4 other people are not going to have fun. Especially depending on how good that person does. Think about it like this. Think about it like this. You have it's actually a lose-lose. If you have an EX Mewtwo on your team, right, and he fucking sucks dick, now you have cancer. You have to play 10 minutes with the strongest character on your team being bad, right? Let's say your Mewtwo is a god, and he pops off and hyper carries. Now the best person on your team pops off, and you can do whatever you want and win. You don't have much impact. It's a lose-lose. Either your EX guy sucks, and then it's too hard to carry, or your EX guy is good, and then he just carries the shit out of you because he's playing the strongest mon anyway. It should never be like that, bro. It truly should never be like that. It looks like Blastoise has no skin. You do not need a leader for a team. Especially, by the way, this change, by the way, guys, does not hurt me. It actually hurts you clowns, okay? I'm actually fighting for you clowns. I play competitive, bro. Okay? If I have an EX Pokemon on my team, I'll just give it to Sam. It's okay, but you fuckers that play solo queue, y'all are the ones that are gonna get cancer, dude. Oh, your Mewtwo X takes your EX Pokemon and feeds, bro. Like, this does not hurt competitive players as much as it hurts solo queue players. But I also don't want solo queue to be hurt. Like, MOBA games, like, they thrive off of solo queue and competitive being, like, relatively similar. But this will just bridge it more and more and more. So there you go.